reminds me back in the Bronx. Do you remember the good old days, Sal, huh?
Yeah, those were the days.
What was that name? You know that name they used to give you, that nickname? What was it, huh?
Yeah, I remember now. Sal Ballbreaker Vidi, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
I didn't realize how bad some of the things I said really were. Hazel's always shouting at me, but I don't realize what I actually say to him.
Well, that's not good for us, is it, Sal? You said yourself you don't even realize what you say sometimes. So how do we know one day you won't accidentally let something slip? You can't even control what you say in front of your wife. I can't even imagine how easy it would be for you to slip some information to the feds.
Get back!
Little slip-ups are ain't gonna keep me in private, Sal. How do we know that we're realistic right now? Can we ever know that? In a game like this, there are no rules.
Just a little mistake.
Just a little mistake. Sometimes little mistakes can get you in some real big trouble, Sal. Sometimes little mistakes can be misunderstood. But sometimes making little mistakes can be a death sentence to people like us.
So, first of all, what are your initial thoughts of the trailer? Yeah, fine. What do you think, Chris? Like, based on what you've seen, how do you like it?
It's a brilliant trailer. If I saw it in the cinema, I'd immediately want to watch it. It's top. It's really top class. Yeah, top notch.
I like the way the conversation kind of switched. You know, if from the quiet, nice, reminiscing kind of thing to the get down to business kind of.
Yeah, I probably agree with Hubert as well. It's like the trailer is like you know what the film is about. Like there's no confusion as to like what genre it is, what the storyline's sort of going to be along the lines of. So yeah, it was really good.
So what genre would you say it would be?
As soon as I see it, I think crime,
Yeah.
thriller.
Yeah,
crime
thriller.
thriller.
Okay, cool. So the plot, were you able to understand it?
Yeah.
You were, okay.
Yeah.
So who do you think the villains were?
Well,
The villains are definitely you and Marcus.
Yeah.
The twins.
Yeah, so the twins. And obviously the heroes.
that
Yeah,
wasn't that outlined to be fair.
Ben's the hero, and then you've got some of the supporting heroes, like the people listening in.
Okay. But who would you say the main ones are? It could be more than-
Agatino, I think.
I'd say Agatino's the tragic character, but I'd say Ben's the hero.
Ben,
Ben's definitely the hero.
Ben also looks like he's
Yeah.
getting involved
He's
in
on the
the
case.
action
Gonna
there.
save him.
Okay. So, do you want to ask any questions?
Yeah. So, wait, did you ask a question on the heroes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, how much information about the film, such story, do you feel you received from the trailer?
Quite a lot, but you can clearly tell that the plot, there's clearly been some sort of a misunderstanding or you know, there's been a breach in their kind of undercover operations kind of thing, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Agree. Okay, how do you feel about the quality of the trailer in terms of cinematography, dialogue, editing, and acting? So, what's your thought on that?
I thought all of it was good. Just at some periods of time, I couldn't hear what was being said because the music was quite loud. But apart from that, I think everything else was very good.
Yeah, I think bearing in mind the props that you had, obviously, you know, I think you did a pretty good job.
And you mentioned about the start, how you liked how it was all subtle. Did you get confused by the start of the trailer, or were you able to just instantly understand the relevance of the conversation?
No, yeah, you could tell where it was going.
Yeah.
Like they tried to lull him into like a serious conversation, trying to make him not overreact.
Yeah.
So obviously initially it was calm and then it went into more serious. So yeah, you can understand that completely.
And overall, although it is unconventional for trailers to use a long conversation at the start, did you feel it was effective and why?
Yeah, it kind of brought out the gist of the movie that you wanted to bring out, right? So you wanted to make it look like, okay, something gravely wrong has clearly happened here, and you want to watch the movie to see the impact.
Yeah, I thought it was, it really set you up for the story and gave you the setting of the type of people that they are and their background and their relationship, and it really makes you think that the film revolves around that conversation, how they get on, so yeah, it was brilliant.
Okay, that's good. What's your opinion on the screen text in relation to the drama?
It was very fitting.
Yeah, fully relevant. After each shot, the comment linked into that shot.
Yeah. How do you think how it was? So you saw there was kind of white text and then red. Do you think that worked well? How the movie or the trailer was being portrayed?
Yeah, because it gave that sense of, the red gave that sense of violence and the white gave that sense of coldness and innocence. So
Yeah, kind of links to like the Godfather in a way.
Okay. How do you feel about the pace of the trailer? So just in terms of how it's been from the beginning to the end, do you think it was conventional? Do you think it was a bit too fast, or they could increase the pace of the trailer, or
it's
get to the end?
It's well timed in the sense that the beginning it starts off very like classy, like a drama, as if you want to establish that relationship, but towards the end it becomes a lot more like a thriller, as if to say that comfort shown at the beginning is now gone. And yeah, so it's a good balance.
Did you feel that the voiceover added to the intensity? So when you heard one of the twins talking to Sal as the actions were going on, you think that built it to the euphoria of it all? Yeah.
And why's that?
It just made it more dramatic, I think, and it sort of reminded you of the storyline. Like, so it's sort of like the voiceover sort of led on from the conversation. So it sort of made the conversation longer. It sort of dragged it a bit out. So you were always reminded back to what the initial, like what the first scene was, and like what the plot of the film actually is.
Okay. And did the use of a blue filter add to the realism and intensity often found within crime films? So, the effect, did you see how it was a little bit
it's a little bit shady.
Yeah, so look, made it a bit darker. Do you think this complemented it?
It added to how sinister you were trying to make the film look. So you wanted to obviously describe how something which clearly was down low shouldn't have been brought out. A bit like other films. I don't know. I think it's something like Harry Potter, something like that, where initially you'd see that it's just something typical, something that normal, but then you find out a secret's there on the cover, kind of links to that.
Okay, cool.
I quickly asked before we go to this. I don't know if we asked it before. Are you able to, let's say, 3 points each about the plot? So the details you knew, as in what you can gather from this. For example, like what do you guys think the rough outline is, very briefly?
It centres on Agatino, who's clearly a respectable man who's respected by two very kind of tough brothers in the mafia business, and it clearly shows his decline and how even someone who's so respected can have a downfall.
Okay. And
it shows how the mafia are linked in ways to the police, so they're not as bad as people may think they are. They do have a good side, and that will lead to their downfall. That's what I gathered.
Okay.
I thought that the overall plot consisted of how fragile the bonds in mafioso lives are. So one tiny mistake could really scrutinize the whole operation. How something could diverge across a completely different path just based on one small imperfection. It's almost as if it's like a cycle that needs to be kept constantly going around in a circle. It couldn't break, and any relationship that's what's the word? what's the word? When like in comparison to this, it's negligible almost. Like to the running of the mafia. So the overall plot kind of revolved around, in my opinion, displaying how relationships are almost like, compared to actual mafia life, they're almost nothing. In a way, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, like I sort of agree with Hubert they're saying when say like so at the beginning, you know, they're all friends. Then Agatino makes his mistake, and then everything sort of starts to like fall apart. It also shows like how like family as well gets involved in it. So Agatino and his wife. It also shows how friends get involved as well. How FBI like try and operate, like how police try and operate to like bring down mafia organizations or anything like that. And yeah, it was I think that was the main part.
And one point about what something which kept you in suspense, just one thing, like something which makes you want to watch it as a film.
The extreme close-ups, it completely grips you with the characters, and you feel as if every character is important. So yeah, as soon as I watch it, I want to watch it to see the characters. So,
okay.
There's been quite towards the end of the trailer, there's quite a lot of violence. So I want to see what happened to those characters that got hit, that got killed, what kind of confrontation, what the reason for the confrontation is.
Okay.
I think just the plot in itself, when people want to see it in cinema, it's a good plot. You want to see how it pans out. You know, are the mafia brothers going to make out alive or not? You know, what the outcome for Agatino. So I think the plot is
Okay. So they're the benefits.
And just out of your own opinion, like give us like 3 things you would have personally done better about it, that you could have made better about the trailer.
Or one each, or just one each.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
anything.
It'd probably be
Anything you saw from the trailer that you thought, oh, this could have been done a bit better, or I would have
Oh,
done
maybe
this.
there was one little bit, maybe like when Agatino's kind of hitting that door towards the end, I would have made him hit it with a bit more like vigorousness.
Okay.
It's not major, it's just like maybe small like acting improvement. That's about it. The actual everything else, like the structure of it was really good in the concept.
Yeah, I think the structure in the trailer was very good. I just said like earlier, like I couldn't really hear some of the voiceover, like over the music. So maybe consider like bringing the volume up of the voiceover, bringing down the music.
do you know what? There's nothing really that I can pick out which I'd improve on. It was all good. The setting was good. The music was good. The close-ups were good. You know, if I'm to be very, this is just picky. I mean, it's not even an improvement.
That's
maybe
fine,
just kind of increase the span to maybe do a nice shot to set the scene. But even then, you did that at the beginning, so that's just me being picky.
That's fine. So maybe a bit more to identify it's London, to make it a bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good, fair point. And lastly, would you go and watch the film based on what you've seen in the trailer? Is it something that instantly you just said, yeah, I would definitely go and see it, or you have second thoughts about it?
Yeah, I'll definitely watch the film.
Oh, yeah.
It's tense, it's classy. Yeah, I will definitely watch it.
From a female point of view, I wouldn't go and watch it because that's not my kind of genre. Unfortunately, it does look like a good trailer. I see a lot of good trailers all the time. It does look like a good trailer. It's just not something that me personally, the type of genres I go and see.
Yeah, I like those kind of blood rushing kind of films. So yeah, I would definitely go and see it because the trailer makes it look really good.
And also quickly, basically you said they may not be appealing to you, but do you think so? The primary audience would be male. You picked up on that, but do you think there is a market for females based on, for example, certain characters or certain things which appeal to women?
I think there is the market there for women. It's a little bit harder with women because they're not really into the sort of crime / thriller things. Maybe if there was maybe Ashton's character, maybe she had a bigger role, or there was another female I don't know, protagonist or antagonist who had a big role as well. Maybe that would entice more females. I know that would definitely entice me more to go watch it. But because it's quite male orientated, it's not something that I would really go and see at the cinema.
Cool. Okay.